everybody, and welcome back to the second day of games for the MGL's Summer Bash League of Legends Tournament. My name is Andrew Mercy Taylor, and I'm very excited to be able to bring you these rounds of games today that we have in store. Should be an action-packed fight, and I have none other than the man himself, Gamer Tribute. What's going on, dude?
I'm doing good, man. How are you doing today?
I'm making it. It's a great day when I get to talk about some League of Legends.
Absolutely.
So with that, the teams that we're going to be seeing today as we start things off are going to be U.S. Army Esports taking on Grunto Esports. Grunto had a huge showing yesterday with a very dominant win over Flashpoint, and Army has suffered a pretty big loss taking on Twisted Sin.
Yeah, Army had a tough fight on their hands. They got behind early. They put up a good defense and kept the game going as long as they could, but they just couldn't overcome at the end. And yesterday, Jick Rames just dominated everything for Grunto Esports.
Yeah, Jit Rames on that Draven just absolutely destroying, able to pick apart the side of Flashpoint and get themselves that real quick win. Army Esports looking to come back to the vengeance here after suffering that Friday loss. They do have a bit of a roster swap. It will be Rito. Their substitute is stepping into the mid lane, and their mid laner, Alacrity, is actually going to be playing the ADC role. So with that, we're actually going to be able to jump into Champ Select in here in just a minute. They've actually already started it. And so we see the first round of pits coming up, and it's actually going to be an early Malzahar pickup for the side of Army Esports, looking to put Rito in something comfortable and something that he can have utility with for the entirety of the game.
Yeah, and the first thing that Army Esports did is they went in there and banned that Draven away from Jick Rames. Don't want to see a repeat of yesterday.
Yeah, and so, looking at the bands, if you're not familiar with some of these bands, the Evelyn and the Karthus band that are coming out are directly pointed over at Pandario. The guy is a gold player, or he is in gold and flex, but I think he's made it to plat at this point in time, but the guy is absolutely insane on those champions, can 1v9 the game and absolutely carry, so they want to get that away from him.
Absolutely.
And so now as we start the look, we see Darius getting picked up for Holoshirts in the top lane. He had a pretty good showing on the Tryndamere, but really the game wasn't about him yesterday. It was definitely all about the Draven in the bot lane. And now a Thresh is going to be picked up for Broken Blade down in the support role.
Yeah, given Holotronics that Darius gives them a chance to just have a nice lane bully up top so he can control lane. Looks like they are going to counter that with the Urgot. It could be Urgot jungle, but it will probably be a counter to the Darius up top.
Yeah, I think the Urgot's pretty good into that Darius, if you can get that slowed, get that missile poison going on, get those shotguns coming from the knee, can get pretty good damage for any time that Darius wants to step up and try to get his trades. And, having the disdain to get some of that shield, to get that displacement, it's always good. And so now we actually see a Rumble lock-in for the side of Army Esports, so that could be actually the Urgot jungle. Pretty interesting pickup right now, and it looks like we might have a remake.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what happened, but they did drop back to lobby. I know there was some last-minute personnel changes, so they might be getting those back and set up.
Okay, yeah, looks like it was a lag out for the side of Rito. He actually dropped from client right there. So ends up dropping from client, coming back in, trying to select a pick and not able to get it. It looks like he's going to drop out for a second. They're getting back in pick order. But yeah, so we can see what they were trying to do. It was going to be a Nami pickup for them, so a bit of safety in the bot lane. So our teams will just end up running that draft back. But, when you're Grunto, you've picked up, I believe they went for like we said, the Darius and the top lane. That's something that needs to win lane, or it's just going to have such a hard time ever having an impact in game.
Yeah, if Darius falls behind, he can kind of just be worthless once it comes to the team fighting stage. He's got to make sure that he stays on top, especially if they are going with either that Urgot or that Rumble. When they get to the team fighting phase, even if they're pretty even, Urgot does tend to have an advantage over Darius in those team fights.
Yeah, it has a little bit more utility, if he's able to put somebody in that Urgot meat grinder, can get that fear off onto everybody. So it's going to be, who's going to play that better? Are they able to shut that Darius down? But also, like we talked about, man, Jit Rames just absolutely killed it yesterday. So you cannot let that guy get headed to the races, or else he's just going to run away with the whole game.
Oh, absolutely. So here we go back into the picks and bans. Looks like they're going to be, well, they changed up the first ban, so let's see if they just call the full reset.
Yeah, they should just be running it back the exact same way.
Left unsatisfied.
They've banned a little bit out of order, but I'm expecting to be the same with bans. Probably not going to be any funky business here, I would assume.
Draven out. There we go.
Yeah, so yeah, there's the Draven. Pointed right after Mr. Slick Chick himself. Don't want to give him that one. They also take that Karma away. Something that we touched on slightly yesterday was the buffs to Karma and how good she can be. And Rito is one of the best Karma players I've ever seen. So they're running back down here. This should be the Nami pickup. Yeah, for Army Esports, they had called that in chat. So Nami has tons of disengage potential, does fairly well into the Thresh, doesn't have too big of an issue. And I think, taking that Nami pickup is really going to help keep that Darius off your line.
Oh, yeah. So anytime he jumps in, if she can hit him with a bubble, that's just going to pop him up and keep him from getting those bleed stacks applied where he wants them at.
Yeah, and so now we get to see what the next round of bans is going to be. Army Esports has yet to lock in their jungler or their ADC, so we'll see who they want to target here. If they decide to target Valencia or target Alacrity, who is playing out of position on that ADC.
Yeah, so the next ban coming in is the Lucian, going towards Alacrity. So they're going to try to thin out his champion pool before we get to his pick.
Yeah, start to whittle away at him. They don't want him being on anything comfortable. The guy is a highly mechanical player. So, going into the ADC role is nothing new for him. Even though he doesn't play it mainly, he usually mains mid. He has the mechanical prowess to be able to play those champions. And now we see a Jarvan ban coming out for the last ban of Grunto Esports.
Yeah, taking that Jarvan away was something U.S. Army Esports used yesterday, and to pretty good success. I mean, it was Valencia on it yesterday, and he was able to lock down, get those ults in, actually saved a lot of team fights by keeping them contained. Even though they got the kills, he was able to keep those fights going longer by getting them contained in the box.
Yeah, he did well to try to set his team up. Unfortunately, they just fell a little bit too far behind. It looks like Alacrity is thinking of taking the Caitlyn here. The crit 80 marksmen are really coming back into favor with some of the buffs that have been coming through. Essence Reaver has been so good. Infinity Edge has been great. You're able to take lethal tempo and still have enough attack speed and get all those crits off. And so he will lock that in. So it'll be the very long range of the Caitlyn into the shorter range Sivir. But one thing to note is that every one of Caitlyn's abilities can be blocked by the spell shield of Sivir, to include the ultimate.
Yeah, I think putting Jake Rames on the Sivir, they're looking to make him another hyper carry again this game, for him to get all those crit procs off and just get ahead and just dominate some of these team fights.
Yeah, we will see the Olaf jungle coming out for the last pick at Army Esports. So now we have Grunto with the ability to counter. They have not picked their jungle pickup, so we'll see what they want to take into this Olaf, and it's going to be going to Pandario. Like I said, his mains are Karthus as well as Evelynn, but he's going to play it maybe with some safety. I kind of expected the Zac here, but he's going to go with the Sejuani, which gave so much trouble over to Army Esports yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday Hato on that Sejuani was amazing. Had a 3-0 on a killing spree within 8 minutes, and just really controlled the game on Sejuani yesterday.
Yeah, and I know there were some questions in chat about the military affiliations of Grunto Esports. So Holotrix up in the top lane is in the Army. Pandario is also in the Army. We didn't talk about him yesterday. He wasn't playing. He is in the Army band. He is a percussionist. We've got GE Loyalty, who is in the Marine Corps. Jit Rames is in the Army, and Broken Blade is in the Army. So 4 Army cats sitting with a mid laner from the Marine Corps. So they will be taking on the Army Esports team, who, funny enough, is all in the Army.
Yeah, and they have one new player in from yesterday. Rito is in. He's been in for 6 years. one of his fondest memories is going to PAX East with the Army esports team and having that experience of playing in a big environment like that. His current rank is Diamond 4. His highest rank is Master. And his favorite champs, he likes to play mid and he likes Rise, even though he gets reworked every 6 months.
Yeah, it just keeps you on your toes. You know, you don't want to get too bored with the stale champions, so they just want you to always be ready. Just figure out the problem as it comes. You get a new Rise, a new season, new Rise, as we say. But looking down at these matches, I want to talk a little bit about this bot lane match of Jit Rames, who did so well yesterday, playing into Lackerty, who's on the off roll, the Sivir into the Caitlyn with the Nami support and the Thresh support. How do you see this lane going here?
So Caitlyn's obviously going to try to use her range advantage, and hopefully Nami can keep Thresh at bay a little bit. If he lands those hooks, though, onto the Caitlyn, it's going to be a hard time for them to get away unless Nami's going to come in. She's going to have to hit those bubbles precisely onto Sivir and not hit Thresh instead in order for them to have to stay with that lane.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty tough fight back and forth. Looking at this mid lane, though, we have Rito, who's playing the Malzahar into the assassin Diana. Now, the Malzahar will have a very easy time shoving the Diana in, has great wave clear, probably going to go for the minion dematerializer as well. Do you see Diana really getting an opportunity to beat this Malzahar?
Not early. If she can stay in there and not get pushed around too much, not let him. If she gets the opportunity to farm under turret when he pushes in with the voidlings, later on in the game, if she can maybe get a pick jungle early gank and get a kill or two and start to get ahead, she can get into that Malzahar when she starts getting those dashes and those resets on the ultimate.
Yeah, Wairito's going to have to hold his ultimate, make sure that he's able to keep himself safe whenever that Diana starts to make that dive in. The Olaf and the Sejuani is something that we see pretty often, but the Urgot into the Darius, you know, we have kind of touched on, thinking that that one might be a little bit tough for the Darius, and if he doesn't get ahead, he will have a hard time moving later into this game.
Yeah, I love playing Urgot right now. He's one of the mains that I've been playing this year, and I love him into Darius because once he pulls you in to start applying those bleed stacks, you just flip him over, you turn on your machine guns, and start to walk away, and you usually win those trades.
Yeah, he gets to be a cool guy that doesn't look at explosions, you know, pulls them into the meat grinder, can go the other direction, just get the kills as they go. But, you know, this game, as we're finishing up the spectator and finishing up the countdown, is going to be back and forth. I want you to get your first impressions based on these team comps. Who do you think is going to come out victorious in this game?
After what we saw yesterday, I really do have to give my support to Grunto Esports. Thinking just the way they moved around, the way they got Jit Rames fed, it was just awesome.
It's very easy to slip into saying Rick James. So I feel like he did that on purpose. He knew what he was doing. He was going to get us the whole time. He was like, one day someone's going to shoutcast my games and they're going to get me with that. I have to be, you know, totally unbiased. You know, I am the caster for the Army esports team, so I will take myself away from that. And when I look at these team compositions, I just got to say, I think Army's going all the way, baby. I think this is a good team composition for them. They have a very team fight heavy composition. They have a safe mid laner, you know, a brawl heavy composition that can collapse well. And I think Lackerty, if he can stay ahead, is going to do very well in this game. And so with that, guys, we are already on to the Rift, and we're about to get into our match as Army Esports is taking on Grunto Esports for your first game of the Saturday of the Summer Brawl of the League of Legends tournament for MGL. Guys, thanks everybody for showing up, and I'm sure these teams are going to show up as well as they look to put on a great match for us.
Yeah, and here we see Grunto coming down for this 5-man bot lane invade.
Yeah, they got themselves a little stack. We're seeing some blue pings come out. That means Army Esports is kind of sniffing this one. They think, you know, something's not sitting right over in this brush, so they're gonna play it safe and maybe not lose their lives here.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they're gonna be able to get anything out of this. They're just gonna stand here and then probably break off and go back. It'll just be a standard jungle start.
Yeah, standard start. So it looks like Olaf is going to move over and start into his red side instead of doing the blue side. Olaf is one of the jungle champions that can easily clear by himself if he wants to, but his clear is always expedited when he gets that leash.
Yeah, at this point, you don't really want to try to do the solo clear. They're not going to get too much with that Caitlyn Nami if they went straight to lane. So having that leash is definitely just going to help him speed up that clear. He can maybe get an early level 2 or level 3 gank.
Yeah, our teams are going to have to make sure that they are on top of their game, both keeping their mechanical skills as well as their mental skills. And if they wanted to keep their mental skills going, they could always go to boostabove.com, one of our sponsors for today. If you guys want to check them out, you can go to boostabove.com. Make sure that your mental game is where it needs to be so you can continue to be the League of Legends champion that you want to be. And one of the things that we want to talk about is the mental oopsie that Mr. Jick Rames had by taking no items.
Yeah, I don't know if he's feeling super confident from yesterday's game, but that is definitely a big mental mistake to come out into the laning phase with no items.
Yeah, if only he had used the boostabove.com, he would have probably remembered that. So they look to continue to push this lane. It's going to be tough for him. Not having that Dorn's Blade actually feels pretty wonky. Your 80 is just a little bit off, and now the early level 2 from Army Esports means they're going in. Jit Rames forced to flash. Alacrity's not going to flash to follow. Broken Blade still going to be okay. Going to use the Flay to try to get Nami back, but can't find it. Holotrix on the other side is in a bad position. He's caught out, and that's going to be first blood. The Army Esports action all over the map, and Army Esports is coming out firing after the loss yesterday.
Yeah, just like we said, that quick clear from Olaf enabled him to get up there and get that really quick level 2 gank and get that Urgot some much needed space to farm the lane.
So maybe, this could have been some pro strats from Jit Rames. He went back and got double Longsword. Looks like he's going to be building to the early Essence Reaver. I highly doubt it, but who knows? Maybe. It's a 200 IQ play we're just not seeing. We're just not good enough.
Yeah, it's always the way you planned it when that happens.
Yeah. But Army Esports getting early pressure in the bot lane as well as the top lane. Porkchop has a pretty good wave press to this turret. Sometimes you would think you would ask for your jungler to come up here, but fighting into, almost 10 minions is never a good idea this early in the game.
Yeah, no, all Urgot has to do is wait to pull aggro, or wait for Darius to pull aggro on that big wave, and he's going to win that trade every time.
Yeah, Wairito in the mid lane doing pretty well for himself, has a pretty good farm lead, is out of mana though, will have the back soon. A good bubble lands from Mitsumi that's OP, and now they're going to be able to get that death sentence onto Alacrity, but they can't follow it as Jit Rames still in a bad position to be able to make anything happen. One thing to note with this bot lane matchup is that the 90 caliber net gun that comes out from Caitlyn gives you about the exact same range as a max range death sentence. So a lot of good Thresh players will bait you in to try to get the 90 caliber net and headshot, and they'll actually just land that Q and pull you right back to his teammate.
Yeah, so you'll get the extra crit damage from the 90 caliber net, but you're definitely going to lose that trade if he lands the hook coming back, so he can pull you in and keep you at a close distance so Sivir can just start picking at you.
Yeah, now we see it. Darius has, made it back up to the lane. He didn't have the burn TP, and he's only about, 5 CS down at this point in time. So, he is going to be a little bit further down once his minion wave starts to crash, as he's got a slow push building, but still not a bad position to be in for giving up that first blood.
Yep, here comes a gank mid.
Yeah, Rito in a bad spot. Their spell shield goes down. He might have to flash out of here. Oh, a good pull in from Diana. That's going to be a stun under the turret. One more shot's going to do it. There goes the Ignite, and there goes Rito's life as he is taken down. But now Valencia might be here to say something about it. Unfortunately, is not going to have the distance or the speed to be able to close that gap. And so now Grunto Esports on the board with the free play.
Oh, good catch.
Yeah, good bubble by Nami. He's going to stop Jit Rames. Remember, he has no flash from the earlier fight. There goes the hero. There goes the Q, and Alacrity is able to take down Jit Rames. Having a rough start to this game so far.
That was a great bubble to catch him out as he was trying to back to set that whole thing up, and they were just able to finish that off really nice.
Yeah, now You know, with the advantage that they're getting in bottom lane, one of the things that you want to see from this Nami and Caitlyn is being able to just pressure these turrets and get that free money from that turret plate.
Yeah, if they can keep this wave pushed in, or they can keep pushing this under tower, Caitlyn is really good at getting those plates down. Those headshot damages going on there, it really helps take those plates out quickly.
Yeah, Sivir no slouch in the wave clear department though, but Jit Rames is really going for a budget build here, has decided to go for the Cole on that last death. So gonna be waiting for his power spike, and you know, as a champion like Sivir who once that 3-item power spike has really set himself behind from getting anything, but now it's me that's OP, steps up to these two, it lands a bubble, there goes a Q, the Death Sentence misses from Broken Blade, and Army Esports just winning all these trades in the bot lane.
Yeah, and Broken Blade has been really precise with those bubbles, making sure he threads the needle and gets them onto Jit Rames almost every single time.
Yeah, now Valencia fighting Pandario on the other side. Valencia is level 6, will have access to the ultimate, but so is Pandario. So it looks like they decide to call off the play for now.
Yeah, Olaf's still hanging around up top, but I don't think Sejuani is backed already, so he's just going to go in and see if he can steal any air camps up there.
Yeah, now Rito getting some pretty good damage, trying to get those E resets. Not quite able to find it. When you have the Maleficent Visions, that's going to be a hard word to say all the time. When you have a Z, going, if you're able to land that Q, it will refresh the timer on the E, so you get that increased damage on the Malzahar.
Yeah, so he'll be able to push that wave, and like I said, we were saying pregame. Looks like we got both Olaf and Mal's now rolling down towards the bottom lane. They're going to look to push us in and get this dive under tower.
Yeah, they're looking for this dive, and they're maybe just looking to also pressure this blue buff. TP is available for both of the top laners, and ultimates are available. So it looks like right now both teams just want to slow play this one. It's going to be touch and go if they decide to press this, but it will be a fight over this blue buff. But it looks like Grunto is maybe thinking about wrapping around from that tri-brush. It's going to be a fight back and forth. It's going to come down to smites. It will be Valencia that picks it up. Now the Death Sentence goes wide, and Army Esports gets away with the heist.
Yeah, I think if that Death Sentence would have hit, we would have seen that fight go full bore, but since they weren't able to get the hook, both teams broke off.
Yeah, Porkchop with the disdain actually ends up missing it, not able to find the damage, but GE Loyalty gets executed by the E of Olaf, and Broloff is on the board with 2 kills already. He's screaming chud, 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 and he wants some more.
Yeah, and getting an Olaf ahead early game is definitely going to be something they want to do. Once he starts getting into those team fights where he can pop that ultimate and not be locked down.
Man, Porkchop with the big plays in the top lane. The Meat Grinders is open for business. Porkchop takes down Holotrix in the 1v1 battle with that flash disdain in. Very well set up by him.
And that was exactly how we called it pregame. Darius hooked him in. Urgot just flipped him right back over, started landing those auto attacks, and then knocked him down with the Death Sentence.
Yeah, much more tempered play, but now the ultimate from Sejuani comes out, able to get the Porkchop, and they're going to punish him for using that flash aggressively. He still has the disdain coming up. He's actually going to use it to go in. That's going to be a flash from Pandario. He has to try to get out. 1 Q could kill him if Porkchop is able to find it. That's going to be it. He's able to get the kill. It's going to be the triumph. Heal saving him. Holotrix using the ultimate too early, and Porkchop, you monster, coming up with a huge 1v2 outplay in the top lane.
Yeah, there was quite a few misplays going on there. Darius seemed to kind of just pause and not chase down. I don't know if he was waiting for a ability cooldown or what, but he kind of just stood still for a little bit and then popped that ultimate a little bit early.
Yeah, now it looks like our Olaf is out of position, but it was all just a bait. But here comes Diana with the damage. Alacrity is able to take him down, though. A flash in from Widro is going to get the damage going. Now the E is dropping back and forth. They're going to use the spell shield for the ace in the hole, but it's still going to be Sivir running for a life. One more Q is going to do it, and that's a triple kill going over to Alacrity. The late game carry is going to be online soon.
Yeah, and that might be the death of the Jit Rames meme for the time being, as Alacrity is just kind of pushing him around lane so far this game.
Yeah, you can press F to pay respects to the death of Slick Jit. At this point in time, someone had already called Rip Jit So a little bit unfortunate. He just has such a good name to go ahead and meme on either side.
But let's get those F's going in the chat.
Yeah. Jit Rip as well. That's also a good one. I like it. So Holotrit's now looking to put the damage back on Porkchop, but that all the while during our memeing, the Cloud Dray did go down. Army Esports is beneficiary of that one. Now they're looking to get the play on Alacrity. Oh, a good predict by Broken Blade means that the death sentence will lead to exactly that as they get the shutdown gold on Alacrity. But unfortunately, gold goes to Thresh.
Yeah, so they are going to get some pressure down there, bot lane too. Probably get at least one plate off of there, maybe two, but they're going to back off as Nami's coming in.
Yeah, but now we see a fight over the red buff, and Porkchop is feeling like a big strong boy as he's just always walking on 1v2. Actually misses the ultimate on Holotrit's. A good sidestep is going to keep him alive. If he was able to land that ultimate, it might have been the death of both of them.
Yeah, and that Urgot is one level away. He's level 10 right now. Once he hits level 11 and he gets that last skill point into the W where he can have that on at all times, he just becomes a monster in team fights.
Yeah, it's me that's OP is maybe looks to stop the backs here, but will not be in time. But now Army Esports will have free time on that turret. So that should be first turret going over to Army Esports. Going to be a big gold swing for them. They're already up almost 5K before the 13-minute mark in this game. But now we see a collapse coming onto the two up in the top lane. But a good TP is going to come out from the side of Wairito. Valencia goes on a killing spree as he takes down GE Loyalty. And Army Esports making the concerted effort. They play like a team here. They are just making the calls and they're collapsing when they need to be.
Yeah, GE Loyalty rolled up.
Yeah, just a good ultimate coming out from Wairito. Good ultimate from Porkchop. Army Esports just layering their damage.
Yeah, and they got a wave coming in, so they should be able to actually get at least one or two more plates off of this if they juggle this right.
Yeah, they're actually thinking about taking the dive. Porkchop is super low. Wairito's going to go down too. No! Oh, it's an execute at least. Now Pandario misses the headbutt, trying to get onto the side of Olaf, but we go to the mid lane as we see Jit Rames once again is in the bubble. Alacrity able to take him down before the Death of Triumph is ticking. Is going to keep him alive. He gets a double kill, able to take him down. Pandario falls in the top, and things are falling apart across the map for Grunto Esports at this time, but now Valencia caught up by GE Loyalty. That will be a glimmer of hope as they get the shutdown onto the Diana.
Yeah, that was a lot of craziness going on. We ended up with 2-on-2 left on the map. Just fights going on everywhere. They are going to get another turret mid lane for US Army Esports. So I think they end up the victors in all that craziness.
Just absolute madness all over the place, but Army did not take the turret in top lane, did take the turret in mid lane though. They worked so hard for that top lane turret, but not able to take it in the end.
And so now we have a reset, so looking for the next objectives for everybody. Looks like we'll probably have some vision being set up around Rift Herald, making sure that if there's a play that needs to be made for there, I would think that that Grunto Esports really wants to make a play for that Rift Herald if they want to start getting some of those turrets back.
Yeah, we do have 1 minute until the next dragon that's going to come up. It will be an ocean dragon, so it might not be the hottest point of contention. But now we see, yeah, nobody say anything. Nobody shh. Just try not to be spotted there. Actually might get caught out, but we're just going to be looking at Porkchop here in the top lane. Right now, Broken Blade still just silent in the night. No one can find him. He has blended in. He is green. The brush is green. Perfect camouflage. He has made it out now. Good for him. But Army Esports is looking to figure out what the next play is going to be for them. They are in the driver's seat. They're up almost 8K at this point in time. So definitely have the ability to go ahead and take this Rift Herald if they want. But right now, they're just giving up all the pressure on it.
Yeah, and I got to say, I was looking over at the chat, and I got to call a foul on Military Gaming League for saying that pineapple should be on Silver's Pizza. That's a no-go.
I'd say you're a no-go at this time. good luck next year. We'll see you then. But yeah, so Wairito doing the same. He's just going to be that Malzahar pushing the rest of the minion wave in, get themselves a bit of pressure, and now the Rift Herald started up, but here's Porkchop. Porkchop has shown that he can 1v2, and he's looking to do it. He goes diving in with the disdain. He's getting the damage. The shotgun knees are coming out. He's trying to find anything else. The ultimate from Nami is going to go wide. They're not able to get that one. They're going to still keep the Rift Herald procs. And that might just mean that this side of Grunto Esports can't come in, and that is going to be a thanks for the leash, bro, as Army Esports picks up that objective.
Yeah, they were able to zone off really well. Urgot just pushed them away from where they wanted to be on that Rift Herald, and everybody else rotated up to just secure that.
Yeah, it's funny every time we flash to Alacrity on this Caitlyn, he is such an aggressive mid lane player that when I watch him play ADC, it just makes me so nervous. But now we see a duel going on between our mid laners, and actually it's going to be GE Loyalty might be going down here. One more hit's going to do it. There's the ace in the hole. Alacrity goes on a killing spree. Wairito just setting up his boy, giving him the kill right there.
And that was a great suppression by Malzahar during that fight to just make it last long enough for them to rotate down for her to get that ace in the hole proc out.
Yeah, and so now we see this fight going on in the top lane. Broken Blade trying to get the Destiny. It's able to land a Gunaport chop under the turret, and that's going to be Hollow Tricks using that ultimate. Now Valencia has to run for the hills, does not want to be the recipient of another death. But at this point in time, Army Esports is just going to pressure the bottom lane. They're playing the macro game so well this time around, have really looked like a completely different team.
Yeah, their rotations are really on point. They're just moving around the map so much faster, making Grunto respond to where they are, and moving well, getting the picks where they need them, and just keeping that lane, taking those towers just one at a time.
Yeah, so now Army Esports is going to go ahead and reset. We would think that a Baron play would be coming up shortly, but it's still got 2 minutes until it's on the board. So Army Esports is really just showing their prowess at this point in time. And if you're Grunto, you've got to start thinking about how your comeback looks.
Yeah, so first thing they're going to need to do is they definitely need to go over and get clear out that vision around the Baron. They need to get the lanes pushed up so that they can have a fight at Baron if it needs to be. But that's going to be the next major objective, and right now Army Esports controls the vision around that side of the map.
Yeah, Grunto Esports not with a lot of vision on that Baron side. They need to make themselves a clear and free pathway. That way they can at least keep walking out the spot without getting jumped on by the side of Army Esports. But now the Army is starting to move into that side of the jungle. They're going to start clearing out vision on that right-hand side, and now Alacrity is just stepping up by himself on the Caitlyn, taking pop shots. He has no fear because he's so far ahead in this game. A fight over red buff, and it's going to be Valencia that secures it. Oh, Pandario might be caught out here. He's going to have to use the ultimate. It's me that's OP, goes pretty low, but the heal and the flash is going to keep him safe for now.
Yeah, so we got out some summoner spells there that weren't able to capitalize on the Sejuani ultimate where they locked him down. With Alacrity there, he would have been able to pick them out if they would have jumped in on that. They didn't have the whole team there.
Oh, looks like Nami's going to be caught out here. He took the wrong way around the path. He stays alive with that great bubble, but he's not able to keep it going. Army Esports, though, coming up with these macro plays. They have Malzahar pressing in the bot. They drop the Rift in the mid, and they have their top laner Porkchop just pushing in his lane. So pressure all around the map, and now Porkchop uses Disdain, gets the flip on Hollow Tricks. That might be the game for Hollow Tricks as he is taken out. 999,000 damage is quite a bit. So that will be the Darius going down.
And that Urgot ultimate is one of my favorite skills in all of League of Legends. Nothing better than hitting it at max range when somebody thinks they've gotten away and are safe, and you just pull them back into that meat grinder.
Yeah, just bring him, pulling back in. But now we see, Porkchop in a great position. He has the Black Cleaver as well as the Death Stance. There is no turret guarding this inhibitor in the bot lane, and so Wairito's just going to free push it. And now it looks like the call might be to collapse on that immobile Malzahar.
Yeah, they're sending 4 people down here to...
Oh, a flash in from GD Loyalty. Rito actually gets a decent amount of damage, but that should be an easy kill. Nami comes over with the bubble, or with the tidal wave, trying to save his laner, but not able to get it.
And again, as they respond to that push, Urgot's up in the top, pushing the other way, so they're getting more damage on that top tower again. They're just rotating really well.
Yeah, impressive macro coming out from Army Esports, and it looks like they're just going to go ahead and take this Ocean Drake as the team of Grunto looks to maybe collapse on Port Shot, but he sniffed it out with a well-placed port.
Yeah, so we are sitting at 3 Drakes now for Army Esports. That's really going to help them if this game goes long enough for them to be an Elder out there.
Yeah, at this point in time, we're getting to 22 minutes. The Baron is up on the table. I'm going to be looking for Army Esports to start getting that vision superiority and start maybe trying to get some picks as they make a Baron bait.
Yeah, they should definitely start playing around this Baron, either whether it's feinting to go in and start it or not, so they can try to get the engage that they want.
Yeah, last time that Army Esports played, they were only able to get the first dragon of the game, and then they had almost zero objective control after that, even though they got an early lane lead. So this time doing it much better, able to find those objectives plays and make sure that they are playing to their macro conditions.
So, and Jake Rames is just going with the constant BM.
Yeah, he just wants to get him in. He wants to cause a little bit of controversy here. But now they have to start to think about, Wairito's still in the bot lane, totally uncontested. And they're going to be sending Darius to try to clean them up, but they're just being pulled across this map right now.
And there is a huge wave on that bottom inhibitor. I think Darius will get there in time to clear it out.
Yeah, but now it looks like they're going to go ahead. They're going to be on the Baron. Baron going down to 7k. We do have a TP available for Wairito as well as Holotrix. This could be a 5-person fight. There is the TP for Wairito. He's coming to the lane. It's going to be a Death Sentence landing on the port shot. They're looking to get the damage. Wairito is able to get the ultimate onto Sivir, and that's going to be Jet Rains going down. Broken Blade in a bad position. Pandario is going to get the ace in the hole, but he is a tanky boy. G Loyalty wants to go in. He wants to try to save his team. All the while, the Baron has fallen on the other side. That's going to be the Sejuani going down into the meat grinder over the wall. He takes the kill. Holotrix is going to be the last man standing as Army Esports looks to run down this Darius just like they have ran away with this game.
Yeah, US Army just took everything there. 4 kills and the Baron. This could probably be the end of the game if they push this in hard enough.
Yeah, it's so well done by Army Esports. They have played to their win conditions. They have team fought where they needed to. They've pulled apart the team of Grunto Esports here, running this heavy team fight composition. Alacrity's not done though. He wants to go in. He uses 9mm caliber net. He's going to keep stepping up. I'm pretty sure the team is yelling at him. They hit the turrets because they need to get this one taken down. And right now, Army Esports is still in a position that they need to try to finish this game. They have the Baron. The minions are here. But if they get caught out and they get swept and wiped, it might be looking bad for them.
Everybody is back alive for Grunto, but there goes that last time.
Wairito with a good ultimate on the Pandario, and there goes the E bounce. Jeff Rains is going to run the opposite way. He is just ticking down. One more hit's going to do it. They're able to take him down. Pork Chop is going to be cleaning up. Wairito is going to be the gift giver of death, taking down GE Loyalty. The Nexus is exposed, and your first win of the game will go to Army Esports as they take down Grunto in quick fashion.
Yeah, that was a much cleaner game for Army Esports. They rotated well. Their macro game was on point today. Just a great comeback from that tough game that they lost last night.
Yeah, they did very well, coming back from that bad beat that they suffered yesterday and coming in strong this time, even with the sub and Alacrity on that Caitlyn with that over 20k damage, most damage in the game, out damaged the Sivir by double her damage. So super well played for them. With that, we're actually going to end up going over and talking to one of the players from the Army Esports team here in just a minute. But when I look kind of at this game, one of the things I want you to talk about is why do you think Army Esports ran away with it like they did?
I think their macro game was on point. They really were able to get the picks that they needed. And Alacrity just really abused the range advantage. And I got to give another shout out to Broken Blade. Early in the laning phase, he hit so many key bubbles onto Sivir, which takes her damage out of the fight and allows them to win those 2v2 trades every time.
Yeah, the bot lane just started to run away with it. We saw the early Urgot lead, and man, Porkchop was killing it in the top lane on the Urgot. Had the 1v1, came back and got the 1v2. super well played by that guy. I don't think he could have played that matchup any better.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he was just up there doing Urgot things. That's one of the reasons he's S plus tier in the meta right now. And he's just a really fun champ to play. I love Urgot. And he did what he was supposed to do with that. Just tank, shoot him with shotgun knees, and pull him into that mean grinder when they get low.
Yeah. So just looking, kind of at this these team compositions, we saw Grunto doing so well yesterday, and we saw a heavy team fight comp coming out to victory for Twisted Sin. Do you expect that to be the kind of way that this meta is going to be shifted for this tournament? Is just like the team fight heavy compositions and brawl heavy compositions are the ones that are going to come out on top?
I think so. We saw a ton of CC just dominate a game yesterday, and today we saw two games where one hyper carry got up. So today's game, Alacrity did over 20k damage, where Sivir only did 9,000. So having that hyper carry really did it. But
yeah. So well done by them. And with that, we're gonna jump over. We're gonna talk to Pork Chop and Curly Hair Maria for our post game interview. So, Pork Chop, so nice to meet you. Very happy to talk with you today. How did you feel about that Urgot game? Especially, I want you to talk me through that 1v2 after you got the 1v1 kill.
Hey, Marissa, you know what? I overstayed my welcome up there. I thought, it's just Sejuani, and I forgot that Darius had his TP up, so I really wasn't expecting, 2v to 1v2. So, I kind of just accepted that I was gonna die, pretty much. But I managed to kite them down, and I didn't think I'd be able to run away in time because Urgot, slows himself as he's firing. But Darius didn't have he just burned his ult before that. And he wasted his E, so he couldn't chase me down, and Sejuani was just too weak after she burnt her stuff. So it worked out.
It did. So in the Baron team fight, since Grunto was putting a little bit of pressure, was there any fears that Baron was going to be stolen, or were you guys pretty confident that Baron was secured by you guys?
We started the Baron, and what we thought would happen was either we'd force a fight, which we were pretty sure we were going to win, or they'd just give us the Baron. So it was like a win-win. That's what our team decided on what would happen.
So you guys this time compared to yesterday drafted a very team fight heavy team composition, especially something that can collapse well. Was that something that you really thought about doing this time? Was there just a concerted effort of hey, we think we're better team fighters, let's just play around that strategy?
For this game, we really focused on picking winning lanes with powerful winning lanes, because Urgot has the range advantage. Urgot and Malzahar both have range advantage on our respective opponents. So we hope that with Olaf's dominance over Sejuani early game, at pretty much all points of the game aside from utility, we'd be able to snowball each lane. And Caitlyn naturally just wins every single lane. So that's what we banked on over really team fight, and that snowball and the gold lead, it just turned into team fight power.
And one last question. So it was in the 13-minute time mark where everybody was pushing top lane. Hold on. So the turret dive, were you guys too confident trying to kill the Sejuani and get the second turret top lane? Or what was the plan for that?
It definitely was a little bit of overconfidence, and I missed my E onto Sejuani. And then right as I was tower diving, I realized that Malzahar had almost no mana, so he couldn't really follow up. And then Valencia's, our jungler's, Cinderhulk took aggro instead of me. So he took a lot of extra damage. So it was just really poorly thought out. So yeah, we got overconfident, and that's something we'd have to review and not do in the future.
Well, Pork, thanks so much for coming on, man. We appreciate the interview. Congratulations on your win today. You looked fantastic. Hopefully all the best of luck to you guys going into tomorrow. You're now 1-1. You're going to be at least able to tie it up with somebody for second place. With that, guys, stick around. We're going to be casting Twisted Sin esports against Flashpoint right after this. Remember to check out our sponsors over at vertigear.com and boostabove.com. But one of the most important things you can check out is the Patreon for Military Gaming League. If you want to join one of MGL's elite units and make sure that you support them with exclusive events and tournaments for the community, as well as exclusive merch, you can do so by checking out the Patreon over at patreon.com/military gaming league. So guys, stick around. We'll be back in just a few minutes for game 2 as Twisted Sin Esports takes on Flashpoint. All right, guys, so we are back, and unfortunately, in a turn of events flashpoint, one of their players had a family emergency and will not be able to play today, and their sub is out as well. So that will be the win going over to Twisted Sin Esports, getting that one from forfeit. That means that Twisted Sin Esports is going to be at a 2-0 record. Grunto and Army Esports are tied for second at 1-1, and then Flashpoint is going to be in your fourth place position at 0-2. I apologize for that happening, but things happen, and we move on and we keep going and we drive forward. So from there, guys, we're just going to head and end the stream for today. You can make sure that you come out and check us out tomorrow. The games are going to be starting at 11:30 Pacific time, and then the finals would be a best of 3 3 series starting at 3 p.m. Make sure you go and check out our sponsors over at aboostabove.com and vertigear.com. Vertigear, I was told, has a community special for military. You get 20% off of your gear. And make sure if you want to join one of the MGL's elite units that you check them out over at Patreon. You can help sponsor them so that they can put on more exclusive events, get more of that exclusive merch for yourself. All you have to do is go to patreon.com/military gaming league. And guys, that's going to be it for us today. Thank you for coming out, and enjoy the rest of your Saturday.